Hello everyone and welcome back to another video presentation. Well, this video presentation is on proportion. Okay, let's understand proportion using some real world problems. So we have this shop A. Okay, this is shop A and this is shop B. Both these shops are selling oranges. Let's suppose that these are oranges. Okay. This shop A sells 2 kilograms of oranges at rupees A. Okay, just assume that the amount you'll have to pay for this 2 kg of oranges that is being sold by this shop A is rupees A. A is some arbitrary, it's a variable. I mean, we are using here algebra, but just assume that it's some arbitrary number. This is shop B, which sells 3 kg of oranges, okay, at rupees B. B is also some arbitrary number. It can be any number, okay. Just assume it. Now, if we have to talk about proportion, then what do we mean by proportion? What is the weight of, oranges being sold by this shop A? So you will say that, let me write it here. Weight of orange, for shop A, okay, to the weight of orange by shop B. Okay, so this is in the form of words. Let's write it in the form of ratio. So this will be weight of orange at shop A to the weight of orange at shop B. Okay, this is the ratio, weight of orange A to the weight of orange B, and this is equal to 2 to 3. That is 2:3. This is the ratio of the weights of orange being sold at shop A to the weight of orange being sold at shop B. You will say that why is that important? Let me explain you. Now, what would be the ratio of the price of oranges being sold at shop A and shop B? So if this was a ratio for weight, now let's find out the ratio for the price. So if I have to write the ratio of the prices of these shops, it will be price. Yes, I'm writing in very short way, okay? Price of orange at shop A to the price of orange at shop B. So this will be price of orange at A to the price of orange at shop B, and this will be equal to, okay, if this is being sold at rupees A, and just one correction here, it is rupees A per kg. That is for 1 kg it is rupees A, and this is for 1 kg it is rupees B. That is rupees B per kg. Okay, that was small correction. So if price of orange A, rupees A is for 1 kg, and how many kgs kilograms is being sold at shop A? It's 2. So for 1 it is A, then for 2 kgs it will be 2 times A. Okay, I hope that's clear. Similarly, if for 1 kg at shop B it is rupees B, then for 3 kilograms it will be 3 times B. This is the ratio of the amount that you'll have to pay. So here we know the exact ratio of the weight, but I have left this ratio, we don't have the exact number, and I have left this ratio in the form of A and B, where A and B are some variables. Okay. Now I want to explain you what do we mean by proportion and why I used here this A and B. Just to explain you that what's a proportion. Suppose that the value of A, this A is 90, or let's say 100. Okay, and value of B is also 100. So A is 100 per kilogram, B is also 100 per kilogram. If I substitute these values of A and B here, this will be 2 times 100, and this will be what's happened? I'm sorry, there's some problem here. And this will be 3 times 100. This will give you 200, and this will give you 300. If I have to simplify this ratio, because this is a ratio, if I have to simplify this ratio, then what would be the highest common factor of 200 and 300? The highest common factor for 200 and 300 will be 100. And if I have to simplify it, I'll divide this 200 by 100, you'll get 2. I'll divide this 300 by 100, you'll get 3. So this is the ratio 2 to 3. And the ratio you will get is 2:3. That is 2 to 3. Now, when the price of A was 100 and the B was 100, that is both the prices were same at these two shops. At that time, this ratio of the weight and the ratio of the prices at these two different shops is actually the same. That is this 2:3, that is the weight of orange A to the weight of orange B is 2:3, and price of orange A to the price of orange B is also 2:3. This is in proportion. This is in proportion. Why it is in proportion? Because this ratio of weights is 2 to 3, that is 2:3, and this ratio of the price is also 2:3, that is 2 to 3, and this is equal. Two ratios are equal. When two ratios are equal, then they are said to be in proportion. They are said to be in proportion. Okay? And if we have to write this in the form of colon, this using symbol colon, this will be 2:3, and for the proportion sign, this will be 2 colon here, 1 colon here, and 2 second colon here. So 2 colons, that is this symbol for the proportion, and then 2:3, right? This shows that these two ratios are equal. Okay, so in other words, we can say that the 2:3 from the weight of orange A to the weight of orange B is equal to the price of orange A to the price of orange B. That is, these two ratios are the same. Therefore, they are said to be in proportion, and that is what a proportion is. Now, assume that this A was 100. This A was 100. but B was, let's say B was 90. B was 90. That is, B is now 90 rupees, rupees 90 per kg. In that case, look for this one. So we have 2 times A and we have 3 times B, and this will become 2 times 100, and this will become 3 times 90, and you'll get what? You'll get 200. You'll get 200, and this will be 270. Now the highest common factor of 200 and 270 is what? It is 10. So if you simplify it, you will get 20 or 20 to 27. That is 20 ratio 27. This is when the prices are different. Now, when the prices were equal, then the ratio were in proportion. So we can say, in that case, we can say that this 2 ratio 3 is actually equal to this one, 200 to 300, right? In this case, you can see that this, I'm just writing space here. In this case, we have this 2 ratio 3, that is the ratio of weights, 2 ratio 3, but the ratio we are getting here is 20 ratio 27. Okay. Now, this ratio, that is 2 ratio 3, is not equal to 20 ratio 27. Therefore, they are not in proportion. They are not in proportion. And why they are not in proportion? Because the prices are different. Prices per kg are different for these two, and that is why you are not getting these two ratios in proportion. Why? Because completely this is dependent upon the weight and this price A, per kg price. This is also per kg price. In that case, you're not getting in proportion. That's why you cannot write it in this form as we have written here. So this one, when this one was in proportion, that is this ratio, when we simplify this ratio, we can get this one, right? So we can say that these two ratios are equal, and in other way we can say that actually this is 2 ratio 3, and then this proportion sign, and then 200 ratio 300. Okay. Now, these are not in proportion because the prices are different. This one is in proportion because the prices are the same, and that makes it, puts it in proportion zone. Now, if I have to tell you, let me tell you one thing more. These, numbers, that is 2, 3, 200 and 300, when we have represented this in the form of proportion, I need some space, so I'm moving here. So let me just copy it. Okay, so these terms 2, 3, 200 and 300, when written in the form of proportion, will be said respective terms. Okay, and this 2 and this 300, this 2 and this 300 will be extreme terms, of any proportion, extreme terms. And this 3 and this 200 will be called middle terms. Middle terms. So these are some of the terminologies that we will use, and this one is actually the symbol of representing proportion. Now, if you're thinking that why is it actually important? What's the need of proportion? Then let me explain you here. I mean, I've shown you, we just discussed here, what do we mean by actually proportion? And let's take one real life example. You go to a shop, you go to a market, and there are two shops, shop A and shop B. Shop A is selling oranges, 2 kg oranges for rupees 180, and shop B is selling 5 kg orange for rupees 450. Now, anyone would get confused that which one is, I mean, are the prices at these two different shops same or are they different? At that time, you use simply this concept of proportion. Simply put it, if you get it in proportion, like we discussed here, the ratio of the weights and then find the ratio of the prices. If these two ratios are equal, that means they are in proportion. At that time, it means yes, the prices are the same. So let's begin. If I have to find the ratio of the weights, okay, so weight of orange at shop A and weight of orange at shop B. This will be equal to 2 ratio 5. 2 to 5. That is 2 ratio 5. Now it's time for price. Price at shop A, what they are actually charging. Now this is not per kg price. Remember, this is not per kg. It's for, in this case, we took per kg because I wanted to explain to you what do we mean by proportion. But in this case, it is actually the price that is being taken completely. Okay. And this price of orange at shop A and the price of orange for 5 kg at shop B, this will be equal to, this is 180 and this is 450. This is 450. Now, if you solve this one, then what will you get? What will be the highest common factor for this one? The highest common factor will be 90. In this case, I leave this calculation of highest common factor to you, but I'm just telling you here this, that 90 is the highest common factor for 180 and 450, so that you can simplify it. If you divide 180 by 90, you'll get 2. If you divide 450 by 90, you'll get 5. So this ratio is also in 2 ratio 5. Now, since this is also 2 ratio 5 and it is also getting 2 ratio 5, that means that this ratio, that is 2 ratio 5, is in proportion to this ratio of 180 ratio 450. Because when we simplify it, we get the same ratio. That is, these two ratios are actually equal. That is 2 to 5 is equal to 180 to 450. Now, the way to read this one, like this is telling you that these two ratios are equal, therefore that is it is in proportion. The way to read this one will be 2 is to 5 as 180 is to 450. This will be the way to read this. 2 is to 5 as 180 is to 450. This is the way to read this proportion. Now, if those of you who are getting confused that, hey, why we took here rupees A per kg and rupees B per kg, but here we are taking, the complete price of 2 kg and 5 kg. In this case, I just wanted to explain you that what do we mean by proportion. And if you see here, ultimately, when we are writing this expression, we are actually writing the complete price of this 2 kg, right? Because we are taking the ratio of the prices at these two shops. So ultimately, we are actually writing down the complete price of 2 kg and the complete price of 3 kg. And same thing what we have done here. In this case, 2, 5, 180, 450, these are the respective terms. 2 and 450 are extreme terms. 5 and 180 are, the middle terms. So this is first video on proportion. And one more important thing, had it been like, let's suppose that this was not rupees 450, had it been rupees 460, okay? Now in that case, this ratio would have become 180 or 460, okay? If you try to find out the highest common factor in this case, the highest common factor will be 20. And in that case, you'll get, this will be 9 and this will be 20 and 2, 3, 6, 2, 2, 4. This will be 23. In this case, you're getting 9:23. That means the ratio of the weight, that is 2:5, and this ratio 9:23, when this price is rupees 460 for 5 kg, but this was 180 for 2 kg. In that case, these two ratios are not equal. That is 2:5 is not equal to 180 to 460. It means that the price per kg is actually different, and because of that, you are not getting these two ratios in proportion. They are not getting equal. Why? Because we have changed the price here. We have changed the per kg price here. In the 460 case, the price per kg becomes different.